I've never done a vlog sitting down on my duvet, or my doona, whatever you want to call it, before. I think I'm almost too comfortable for doing a rant video, to be honest. I was going to make this video about people that don't have phones. I came up with an amazing title and everything. It was going to be called Get a Phone or Get the Fuck Out, because I find them thoroughly annoying, especially when they're knocking on my door at midnight trying to wake one of my other housemates because they don't have a phone to call them. Really fucking annoying, but at the end of the day, just get a phone, okay? It's not that hard. Now let's move on to the more important topics, shall we? I was going to make a video about that, but then I saw this video, which was filmed on Saturday night just after the Sydney-Mardi-gras parades, in which a member of that parade was thrown to the ground by a police officer into his skull for no apparent reason.
Whoa! Stay on the ground.
That's wrong. That's really wrong.
I say no apparent reason because obviously there would have been a reason for it. We just don't know whether that reason was he was attacking a woman, as the police have accused him of doing, even though he says he was just tickling his friend, or if they just didn't like the look of him, one of the two. But really I don't care what this guy had done before the footage was filmed. He was a small, half-naked man in handcuffs. He really posed no significant threat to anyone in the vicinity, and the reaction of the police officer, I think, was completely unjustified and quite disgraceful. People go on and on about the stuff this guy might have done to provoke the reaction from the police officer, but I just don't think it matters at all. You cannot treat another human being like that unless there is literally no other way to detain him, and as we can see from the footage, the guy was already in handcuffs, he was already detained. As far as I'm concerned, police officers should be held to a far higher standard than the rest of society when it comes to using unnecessary violence, because this is their job, they're professionals, their job is to protect us from criminals. For me, the most intriguing part of this footage is when the police officers repeatedly ask the guy filming to stop filming.
Stop filming, man.
I know it's not against the law.
It's illegal to film a police officer.
Oh, I know it's not against the law.
Right?
It's not against the law.
Good.
It's not against the law. Well, I don't have to.
Good.
Well, what do you mean?
What are you filming for?
Because I'm allowed to.
No, you're not.
I'm media. I'm allowed to film. What law is there against me filming this?
Stop filming.
Why?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I know you said, but what law?
Now, I'm no anarchist, okay? I recognise the importance of the police as much as the next person, but I do think it is kind of dangerous to give certain members of our society unquestionable power. Because some people quickly become addicted to this type of power and start abusing it to their own advantages by telling people to do or stop doing certain things for no legal reasons whatsoever. Stop filming, mate? Why? Because I said so. Because I said so! In this case, the guy holding the camera was well aware of the fact that he was completely within his rights to film police officers in public, but I do have to wonder what would have happened if a less well-informed person, or a person less inclined to question authority, was in that position. This is actually quite a profound problem, just generally in the world. I think that people have a tendency to accept things without questioning them. If you're interested in this, I would highly recommend you watch a film called Compliance, which is based on a true story, link to the trailer in the description. And the saddest thing about this story is, the only reason I'm talking about it, the only reason that I even know about it, is because someone filmed it, which makes me wonder how often this stuff is happening without anyone filming it and without anyone knowing about it. This isn't even an isolated incident either. A few years ago in England during the G20 protests, a guy that wasn't even involved in the protest was walking away from police with his hands in his pockets and was hit with a baton in his knee and then pushed to the ground by a police officer and eventually died from internal bleeding from that incident. But the police officer involved was acquitted without charge. Go figure! Last year, when that whole Occupy Melbourne thing was happening and the police forcibly removed protesters from City Square in the centre of Melbourne, there is footage that you can watch on YouTube of police just punching protesters in the face, again, for no apparent reason. I just don't see how that can be justified. Hi, Future Angus here. I just forgot to mention that the Mayor of Melbourne, Lord Robert Doyle, wrote an article in the disgraceful excuse for a newspaper called the Herald Sun in response to these events called "Selfish Rabble Got What It Deserved." And in that article he refers to his constituents that were peacefully protesting against income inequality in the centre of Melbourne as a self-righteous, narcissistic, self-indulgent rabble that tried to capture the city. Lord Mayor Robert Doyle, you are a cunt. And if this is happening in stable and peaceful countries like Australia, I just hate to think what is going on in the more corrupt countries around the world. Like Mexico, for instance. God! Here in Mexico, the police bribing people and beating up people happens every single day, and the Mexicans really can't do anything about it because corruption stems throughout the whole legal system. Australia, on the other hand, I genuinely believe is one of the best democracies in the world, and we can protest this, we can do shit about this. So in the description, I'm going to post a link to a petition that's calling for the officer involved to be punished, and also for an independent inquiry into the conduct of the police during Mardi Gras last Saturday. We really have to send a message to the police that they cannot abuse their power like this, that there is someone watching over what they're doing, and they can't get away with this shit in Australia. Samuel Redmond out.